Hello, everyone. Need to talk to you about some practice tests that are going to help you with the course. This can be used in the course that I'm teaching elsewhere or have taught elsewhere. This can be used in two different places. It can be used at the university level if people are looking to refresh some of the skills that would be good to have refreshed at the university level. And at the college level, technical college level. This is geared primarily to the technical college level. We're going to start with practice test number 1, and we're going to run through practice test number 7. So there should be 7 practice tests that I will go through that will help you for real tests that could occur. Especially at the college level, MATC college level, this looks very similar to much of the content that you're going to see throughout the course. If you know how to do this content, you know how to do the course. It's about as simple as that, or at least to a large degree. For the MATC content, this is 70% of your grade are the exams 1 through 7. 70% of your grade. So it's good to know how to do this stuff. If you know how to do these practice exams, these practice tests, you can also do the homework and the quizzes. The homework in cumulative total, I guess you could say, is 15% of your grade, and the quizzes are 15% of your grade. The homework can be very lengthy, and it's only 15% of your grade, but it's great practice. It's not, and you can work at it as much as you want. It helps a bit. But the exams, like I said, are the lion's share of the course grade, and they're not very difficult. So you can do really well here, guys. You're capable of doing well here. On this content. It's good stuff to study. You can use the ALEKS content that is there. You can use the textbook that is there. And you can also use these films and do it. So we're trying to give maximum flexibility for you to be able to do the job regarding such matters. Beyond that, what else is there to say? I mean, we can say that there are other practice exams, other practice tests that have already been filmed. And it's as simple as that. There's other practice tests that have already been filmed, and those are also available to you if you're taking this class at MATC. Those are also available to you, or in other places I've also placed this at the university level. Those other practice exams, those other practice tests are essentially the same content as this. So if you want to get extra practice, there are those extra practice tests that are going to cover the same content as this. There are other things discussing the Pythagorean theorem and basic operations, basic do's and don'ts. Those will occur probably in 2 different places, and they're the same content in either the old practice tests or the new practice tests. But there's a lot of practice tests here, old and new. So I hope that works out for everybody. I hope that's helpful for everyone. That's about it. Let's start with the practice test number 1. The answers, you'll have access to this as well, you guys, and those answers will also be present. So let's see what we can say. The answers are in the back of this, and we take a look at it, try to solve these. Again, by the time you're looking at this practice test number 1, you're probably looking at some of the basic introduction to the content, some of the basic introduction to this sort of mathematical content, the basic introduction, the basic do's and don'ts. That precedes this, and you'll have access to it as well in various learning management systems. If you're doing this at MATC, you'll have access to it in Blackboard. Okay. So with that in mind, let's knock through a few of these and see what we can say. So there's 20 questions on test number 1, and let's see what we can say here, guys. Let's go question 1 of the 20 questions and take it from there. So write your answer as a fraction in simplest form, they're saying something like this. And again, there's a film right before this that shows us how to multiply fractions, how to divide fractions, how to add fractions, how to subtract fractions, and we expand that discussion, we expand that to mixed numbers as well. How to add fractions, how to subtract fractions, how to divide fractions, how to multiply fractions, and or how to do that with mixed numbers. So that's already been something that's already been introduced earlier, and you'll see that as well. You keep the common denominator as is. You go 5 minus 1, and you get this. And we know that 1 times 4 is 4. We know that 3 times 4 is 12. And we end up getting this. For 2, again, you'll have this at the end of each film. You'll have all the practice tests scrolling, so you know what we're talking about as well. Also, you should have this in your learning management system, what the actual practice tests are, the same practice tests from which I'm reading. Question 2. A bag of rare spice that weighs 4/5 pounds will be split equally among 40 people. How much spice will each person get? Write your answer in simplest form. So what you're talking about, you've got this. You're going to divide it between 20 people. 20 is the same as 20 over 1. A fraction divided by another fraction is the first fraction multiplied by the reciprocal of the second fraction multiplied by the reciprocal of the fraction doing the dividing, the second fraction, multiplied by the reciprocal. So here you can do cross cancellation. 1 times 1 is 1. 5 times 5 is 25. How much spice will each person get? That's in pounds. Evaluate this. We talk about order of operations. All this is discussed in the introduction to algebra that I have in other places, you guys. So you're seeing, you've seen the procedures before. You'll look at the earlier films on some of that, but let's go for it. Let's take a look at it. We've got 5/9 times a half minus, well, addition and subtraction, all other things considered, if there are no brackets or parentheses present, and there are not, addition and subtraction have the last priority. So take care of this and then take it from there. Multiply the numerators across, multiply the denominators across, then you have this. Got to get a common denominator. How about make the 6, get it to be 18. Multiply it by a special 1, 3 over 3. This is 5/18. 3 over 3 is 1. 3 times 1 is 3. 6 times 3 is 18. You got 2 18ths. That's the same as 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 9 is 18. Whoop. Sorry about that. Got this. So 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 9 is 18. At the end of the day, we got this. Four. Same thing. Follow the order of operations. The basic argument. Follow the rules. We have to know the rules, and once we know them, we're okay. Minus a minus is plus. Minus this is plus the opposite of this. And they got this. Notice there's no parentheses encompassing encompassing a lot of different things here, you guys. So when you're looking at this, you know, there's not multiple things being encompassed by parentheses. These parentheses here are kind of a placeholder, if you will, in a sense. Kind of just giving us heads up, hey, there's a problem, there's a number by itself, go minus the opposite of a particular number, and let's see what we get. Well, you're doing this at the very end. Do this right here. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. That's 4. 5. Again, similar arguments are taking place here. And again, there's a lot of do's and don'ts, and we have to, you know, there's films right before this that tell us these do's and don'ts. You have to look at them. You have to see them. Well, okay, I mean, this is a minus. 1 squared is 1. Let's go over here. This quantity squared is -6 times -6. At the end, we'll do that. -1 is plus the opposite of 1. -6 times -6 is positive 36. And I talk about that in a film before that, like I've said numerous times already. 36 divided by 3 is 12. This is -1. Whenever you're in doubt, convert everything to addition. It's not a bad way to go. -2 and -1 is -3. -3 and positive 12 is positive 9. That was 5. Let's look at 6. 6 is saying you got -4u squared. Well, I don't know what u squared is, but I know it's a quantity. And we have 6 plus a positive 6u squared. Well, u squared is a common, these are common terms. So just add the front ends. -4 and 6 is 2. And then we got this. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's keep going for it. We've got, for 7, you've got the quantity 5 times the quantity x plus 4 minus 8x. Well, let's see how that plays out. Well, that subtraction's kind of the last thing you're dealing with. Right here, there's parentheses. You can't really simplify within because you don't know what x is. You can take the 5, however, and distribute it. You got 5x, 5 times 4 is 20, minus 8x. Minus 8x is plus a negative 8x. Let's get like terms together. Here are the x's, here are the x's. 5x and negative 8x. 5x and negative 8x is negative 3x. Here's 20. And there we go. That was number 7 for an answer, guys. Number 7, so we started here. I should have given myself a little more room here. That's number 7 that we were talking about to get this. See how much room we have. Yeah, what the heck, we got a little bit of room. So here's number 8. Number 8 is saying evaluate the expression when m equals 6. So 3m squared when m equals 6. You got to be careful here. The only thing getting squared is the m. 3m squared is 3 times the quantity m squared, whatever that is. Typically, you put the letter, you put it within parentheses. So let me do it twice. The m is 6. I'll square it and put it here. 6 squared is 36. I don't know how much room. I'll see how well this prints out, you guys. M squared is 6 squared. That's 36. Here's a 3. 108 at the end of the day. Notice you're not going 3 times m. Pretty important in that regard. I mean, maybe it's worth coming back a little bit. Guys, forgive me. I'm going to try to put some wet material on the board sometimes when I'm erasing this. I don't want too much chalk to be on the ground here. I don't want to create problems for the custodians, or at least to the best of my ability, try not to do so. Let me, at least in this instance, let's go back to 8 a little bit and kind of just see the subtlety here. Now, again, I've already talked about this in other films, the reality of how some of this happens. You had the 8, and it was 3m squared. 3m squared means 3 times m times m. The quantity 3m squared is 3m times 3m, which is the same as 3 times 3 and the same as m times m, which is the same as 3 squared times m squared. You bring this inside. There's a 3 to the 1 and m to the 1. You bring the 2 inside and you multiply it with each exponent that's on top of each number. That can only happen when there's addition and or subtraction going on. Forgive me. That cannot happen when there's addition or subtraction going on, ever. This only works when there's multiplication and or division going on. You can, in a sense, distribute the exponentiation when there's only multiplication and or division going on. So you can get something like this. Well, this is true, and it'd be a different, this is true, what I said up here at least. Hypothetically, this is true, and it would certainly be a different answer than 108. Sure, this is true. It's not the question that we're being asked, but hypothetically, if this was being asked, you got a different answer here. You know, you take this guy, and you get 6 squared, you get 36. 3 squared is 9. 9 times 36 is pretty interesting. It's going to be 324. 324. Yeah, absolutely, that'd be the answer if that was the question. That's not the question, okay? That's not the question being asked. The question being asked was what I already answered, and that was this right here, which is the same as just 3 times whatever this is. It's 3 times the 6 squared. The 6 squared is 36. This right here is 108. That's where we were getting the answer earlier. I think that was somewhat clear earlier, but just in case, something to talk about. So that gets us through for 1 through 8. Clean the board a little bit, guys. I might take a pause on this when I do it, just to make it easier for you guys too. But okay, so we have that. I'll be back in an instant. Okay, everyone. The board's I think dried off pretty good. I'm trying to not have chalk dust going all over the place, making it easier for people who are cleaning up around here. But so on occasion you'll see me pausing this and getting back to this. So we are back. for question 9 of 20, use the equation below to find y if m equals 9, x equals 5, and b equals 8. So essentially what they're saying here is, let's see what we got here. They're telling you that there is an m and it's equal, there's an m and it's equal to 9. There's an x, there's an m and it's equal to 9. There's an x, it's equal to 5. There's a b, it's equal to 8. And they want you to evaluate this. Generally, you want to get y. Well, y is not given to you. They're telling you what m is, they're telling you what x is, and they're telling you what b is at the end of all this. Remember, the subtraction of b is the last thing you're doing. And b is equal to 8, x is equal to 5, m is equal to 9. Very oftentimes when you're plugging numbers in for letters, for symbolic, non-explicit numeric symbols, when you're plugging in regular numbers into letters, generally the good idea is to put, here's m, here's x, here's b, put everything individually into parentheses when you're dealing with it. It's probably a good idea. 9 times 5, 45. 8 is 8. 45 minus 8 is simply going to be, it's a good question. Let me not get a wrong answer here, guys. It's easy to get careless. That's part of the mathematics, though, guys. We have to make sure, and we're going to make mistakes every now and then. That's a human thing. You want to try to minimize that. I had an old professor a long time ago. He was an engineering professor. He'd always say to us, it's better I take 20 points away from you on the test. It's better that I take 20 points away from you on the test than the judge give you 20 years. If you're an engineer and you make a mistake and something very bad happens, there's a lot of liability issues there. So we try not to make mistakes. We try to be very, very precise in what we do to the best of our ability. On occasion, mistakes are going to happen. We try to minimize those. So here we go. We've got this right here. That's 9. 10, they're saying evaluate the expression when a equals 12 and c equals 6. Again, they're basically playing the same game with those guys. And that's fine. We're gonna figure it out. We are told that a is 12. We're told that c is 6. And we are told the following. We've got c squared plus 6 times the quantity. The quantity a minus c, the entire quantity is going to be squared. Be careful. Simplify your answer as much as possible. See what we got here. C is 6. Put it in parentheses and square it. 6 is 6 right here. We've got an A, we've got a C. That's your judgment if you can put parentheses within parentheses. It's pretty clear right here, so we're okay. Then we're going to square the end of that. 6 squared is 36. 6 is 6. This is 6, and it's going to be squared. This is the only thing getting squared here. Be careful. This is 36. 6 squared is 36 times 6. Interesting. Well, 36 is what it is. 6 times 36 is 100, forgive me, 6 times 36 is 216. 216 plus 36 is 252. We're looking pretty good, guys. 11. If b is equal to 8, why don't you give me an evaluation of this thing, they're saying. Okay, so for 11, if b is equal to 8, please evaluate. Well, okay, we got 8. We'll square it. 8 squared is 64. 64 minus 15 should be 49. Not too bad. Just check here the sound quality, guys. Make sure we're all on the mark here. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Okay, everybody should be able to see this. That was 11. Use the equation below to find C if A equals 39 and B equals 27. This stuff's easier done than said, I guess, sometimes, guys. Might as well give it to you straight here. We are talking about, they want you to find C if they're telling you some other stuff here. All right. Well, they want you to find what C is. They want you to find what C is when you've got this. Okay, well, C 180 minus, and let's see here, they're telling us that A equals 39 and B equals 27. So A equals 39 and B equals 27. Okay, well, if A is 39 and B is 27, we've got this. Now we've got to be careful. We can play this a number of ways. You can go 180 minus 39 is 141. You can go 141 minus 27 is 114, and you're done. That gets you there. Do a subtraction, get an answer. Do another subtraction, get an answer. Another way you can do it is minus this is plus the opposite of 39. Minus this is plus the opposite of 27. A negative plus a negative, and again, I've done this in other places. A negative plus a negative is a more negative answer. Negative 39 and negative 27, when added, is going to be even more negative. It's going to be negative 66. Do the tug of war here. Do the games I've already shown you how to play earlier in the introduction to algebra and some of the basic do's and don'ts. Play this game right here, guys, and you're still getting 114, which makes sense. So there's a number of ways to do this. Just get it right. Pay attention to what you're doing, and I think we're in pretty good shape if we do that. So that's number 12. 13, they're asking you to simplify. And it's kind of, a lot of, the arguments kind of similar to one another in a lot of ways. Negative 8a minus a positive 9a. Negative 8a minus a positive 9a. Well, yeah, let's just write it down again. You're saying, why are you writing it down again? Well, it's manipulated at this point. That's subtraction, huh? Minus is the same as plus the opposite. Common terms here, A's, so leave it alone. If I add apples and apples, I don't get square apples, I just get more apples. 2 apples plus 3 apples is not 5 square apples, it's just 5 apples. Only when you multiply or divide do letters and exponents potentially change. When you add or subtract, the letters and exponents don't change. What is a negative 8 and a negative 9? It's a negative 17. The A stays and you're done. That is 13. $14, they're asking for an interesting simplification that has to take place. Let's give ourselves a little bit of room on that. They want a simplification here. Again, there's ways we can do this, and we're There's potentially a number of ways we can do this. I'll give you what I think is the easiest. That doesn't mean you're going to like doing it that way. Approach this in another manner if you know what you're doing and you feel good about it. If you learn it another way and you can get it right, that's fine. My advice to everybody doing problems like this, my advice to everyone doing problems like this is whenever there's subtraction, convert it to addition. Whenever you're in any kind of doubt, if there's subtraction going on, to play it safe if there's subtraction going on, I would convert all subtraction into addition. It's a good idea. It works easier. You tell me what you think. Minus 3 is plus the opposite of 3. Minus 3 is plus the opposite of 3. Take the 2 and distribute it. Take the negative 3 and distribute it. Everything's going to be in terms of addition. 2 times 4y is 8y. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Negative 3 times y is negative 3y. Negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. Take the common terms, the y's, and put them together. 8y and negative 3y is 5y. Take these common terms, which is regular numbers, put them together. A loss of 6 and then another loss is an even greater loss. You add two negative numbers, the result's even more negative. Negative 6 and negative 18 is negative 24. You want to write it like this, or do you want to write it like this? I'll give you credit either way. Don't worry about it. Just watch out if you're doing this on ALEKS. Make sure ALEKS, it might get particular about it. You got to be careful. This set you're going to have to watch out a little bit sometimes. Though they do mean the exact same thing. If it becomes a problem, let me know. Nobody's going to get nickel and dimed on either one of these because either one of these is correct. That's not going to be an issue. For 15, here we go again. We got to evaluate negative 16 divided by 4 minus 12. So we got negative 16 divided by 4 minus 12. Well, we've been down this road before. The subtraction is the last thing you're taking care of. That's the last thing you're dealing with. Let's just deal with this. A negative divided by a positive is a negative answer. Pretend they're both positive and get 4 for an answer, and then throw negative in front of it. Negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4, minus 12. If I lost $4 and lost another 12, I've lost a total of 16. It's negative 16. You can also write it like this. Minus 12 is plus a negative 12. Add these two negatives together, and you get negative 16. So we're looking pretty good, you guys, vis-a-vis all this. Let me do... Don't know if I'm going to need to, I'll just flat out erase this. We should be okay. But let me kind of be careful. All right, let's go 16 through 20 for this first film and just go and finish it up. For 16, they are saying the following. Again, guys, the big thing, none of this is possible unless we know the rules and can apply the rules. Let's not get fooled by anything here. This isn't the quantity, 3 minus 2 is 1, you square 1, you get 1. Well, that's true if this would have been the question. 3 minus 2, yeah, you have to do it in parentheses first. 3 minus 2 is 1, 1 squared is 1. I agree 100%. If that was the question, I agree 100%. That wasn't the question. That wasn't the question. It was just, there was no quantity there to be dealing with. So what we have here is, we have this. Okay, let me think. Let me do what's in parentheses here. Minus 3 is plus a negative 3. Negative 1 and negative 3 is negative 4 squared. 3 is 3. The minus stays. Leave it alone. See what we can talk about. Um, the quantity negative 4 squared is negative 4 times negative 4. Well, negative times negative is a positive answer. This is 3. Let's worry about that subtraction in a second. The quantity 2 squared is 4. 16 is 16. 3 minus 4 is 3 plus a negative 4. Negative 4 and 3, that tug of war results in a negative 1. Positive divided by negative is a negative answer. Just be cognizant of that. Negative 16. Question 17 of 20. Bill has bought 30 pounds of dog food. He feeds his dog 3/5 pounds for each meal. How many meals will the food last? Write your answer in simplest form. Okay, sometimes they can be pretty particular on how they want to answer something like this, especially if this answer should come out okay. It should come out evenly, unless he's got half a meal at the end. Maybe like he's got 20 meals and then a half meal left over. Well, it's not going to go there. This one's going to work out okay, but it could, conceivably. He can only give the dog a half a meal after the first 20 meals. He's definitely got to go buy some more food. Bill has bought 30 pounds of dog food. Every time he feeds his dog, he feeds it 3/5 pounds. How many meals? Every time you got 3/5 pounds accounted for, you've got a meal. This is a classic division problem. 30 is the same as 30 over 1. This is 3/5. Division can be converted to multiplication. A fraction, if it's not a fraction, make it a fraction. A fraction divided by another fraction is the first fraction multiplied by the reciprocal of the second fraction doing the dividing. 50 over 1 is 50. 50 meals, according to this setup, according to how much he gives the dog. '18, write your answer as a fraction in simplest form. It can be written in a lot of ways, I guess you could say. I'll even write it as a mixed number as well, but let's see here. We got 7/8 plus 3/8. Eighth is right here. 7 and 3 is 10. We know 2 times 5 is 10. We know 2 times 4 is 8. 5/4. That's a fraction, simplest terms. It may be an improper fraction because the number on top is bigger than the number on the bottom, but it works. That's the same as 1.25. It's the same as 1 1/4. Okay, we'll get in more into the specifics as how they want to do this. It can kind of vary. I've seen answer keys give different renditions of what's a fraction. This isn't really a fraction, so they're probably not going to go that way. But sometimes you won't be surprised. I mean, sometimes things can be written differently. The big thing is you know what you're doing. Are we getting the answers here, guys? They're asking this one. Let's see what we got here. We got 18. So we got, forgive me, I just did 18. We've got 19. Uh, 19 is saying evaluate. Well, okay, we've been down this path already. Okay, in previous films, I'm definitely going down this path. But here as well, we've gone down this path before. That addition is the last thing you're doing. 3/4 is 3/4. Let's deal with this. We got 3/4 here. 1 times 7 is 7. 2 times 8 is 16. Sounds good to me. Got to get a common denominator. Well, I could multiply the 4 and the 16 and get 64. I got a better idea. 16 goes into 16, 4 goes into 16. If you multiply this by a special 1, 4 over 4, you got 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. This is 7 times 16. You always keep the common denominator once you have worked very hard to get it whenever you're adding or subtracting fractions. When you're multiplying or dividing fractions, there's not necessarily a common denominator going to be present. So you got this right here. Just see how they're giving it in the answer key, guys. I want to just make sure we're not going down. This shouldn't be an issue, but, you know, I don't know. Sometimes issues happen. Right, they're correct not to go to mixed numbers. They're just staying right here when they're doing something here. Same thing here. They're not going to mixed numbers. They're going right here. If you wanted to go to a mixed number, you know how to do it. 16 goes into here one whole time, and 3 left over. Okay, but typically they're going right here. They're going right here. That's 19. 20, evaluate the expression when the following is going on. Simplify as much as possible for what it is that you're doing. So they're saying x is equal to 4 and z is equal to 8. X equals 4, z equals 8. And here we go. I mean, basically all that you're doing, guys, for this right here, and this is, as we said, this is 20. I would put every single item that is a letter, before I put the number in there, I'd put parentheses around every place where the letter was. Not a bad way to do it. Z is equal to 8. Forgive me, I should have been squared on that. So there, it's squared right here. Z squared is the quantity 8 squared. X is equal to 4, and x is equal to 4. This is the last thing you're doing, the subtraction. 8 squared is 64. 5 times 4 is 20. This is 4. 64 minus 20 is 44. 44 divided by 4 is 11. You're done. Okay. Be watching these films. Like I said, this is among the newer films that I'm doing. There are also older films that were done at a different time, at an earlier time. And they also have much of the same content. So if you ever want more review, those films are there. I'll have them available for people on Blackboard if you're at MATC, or they'll be available, if you want to. But the new films should suffice in and of themselves. There's some old films I'm putting in with this stuff as well. Some of the basic introduction to algebra and things of that nature. Those will be both in the old circumstances and in these new circumstances. Probably going to leave them both places. But you've got a lot of review if you want to go for it. This takes us through test number 1. Through all of these films, I'll have all of the 7 new practice tests scrolling through with the answers to those practice tests. If you know how to do these practice tests, you will know how to do the tests that are in ALEKS. They look identical to this, and it's like 70% of your grade. You really can't lose, but you got to look at this stuff and work hard at it. Okay, we'll see you for the next exams, for the upcoming exams as well, practice tests. We'll be going through all those. All right, thank you for your time.